Hello. Um, Thank you for inviting me to this panel. So, um, our perspective on Greek debt obviously is also with a view to what we experienced in the past crisis. And now that Greek debt is higher than it was before, obviously it raises the question on whether we are more concerned or how we look at the current Greek debt situation. And let me say from our perspective, indeed, concerns about debt sustainability are muted at this stage for very good reason. There is a need to take a fresh look at debt sustainability because conditions have changed, and there are basically three factors that I would like to emphasize in this regard. The first one being that obviously Greece has done reforms in the past that strengthen its economic position, and that it was in a much better position prior to this crisis than it was compared to the past crisis. One of the key points, for example, being the very strong fiscal position that allowed it to actually react also to the pandemic in an adequate way. The second point is that the international environment, the global environment has actually changed, and we are seeing now much lower interest rates. And that is part of a general secular decline, if you wish, and it has also figured into Europe. So that refinancing nowadays is much more affordable than it was in the past. And on that account, also, the debt carrying capacity of Greece and of other countries is higher. The third element that one needs to be aware of is that also there is an additional layer of European support. In the past crisis, obviously, the role of the ESM was crucial in supporting Greece, and we have achieved a lot through our support program, to the way we lend and strengthen actually the debt structure of Greece in making it affordable and in making it sustainable. But in this crisis, there's another layer added to this, which comes from the European initiative and the Next Generation EU, and also in the form of monetary policy support and what is done in that context for Greek market access and interest rates. So these are three kind of structural elements, if you wish, that actually make the situation of Greece and its debt sustainability much more manageable than it was in the past. Having said that, obviously, we also need to be aware of the medium and long-term risks that come with it. And here, obviously, one needs to be conscious of the fact that interest rates may change. We have seen some interest rate movements in the past, and forward-looking in the very long term, we have to see how that evolves. There may be other economic shocks that undermine growth, or there may be additional budgetary pressures, and those can come from aging, those can come from climate change. So it is very important that Greece has a credible fiscal path, that it can communicate to citizens, and that also can be communicated to financial markets, and that after the crisis, fiscal policies adjust accordingly in order to comply also with the requirements of the European fiscal framework as it evolves. Then there is the predominant challenge, I think, for Greece is to strengthen its growth potential. And this is really key. We have emphasized it already in the past, and it remains a crucial factor for maintaining long-term debt sustainability. And here we think that obviously the Next Generation EU will be a factor that can greatly help. And the task is to make, and the challenge is to make best use possible of this, to make best use possible in terms of investment means available and the support available, and also best use in terms of structural reforms accompanying this. We can talk about the details later, but the growth challenge is key here, and that is what Greece needs to live up to. Thank you.